Hey everybody, welcome back to Keep Swing. Today's episode is brought to you by hitting instructor Triston McKenzie. If you want hitting lessons, you can reach him at 1-800-NO-JUICE. Just call that number for more info.
I love it.
Yo, that is one of my favorite tweets of yours. Dude, you have some great stuff on social media, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to talk about a lot about your baseball career. Because on a more serious note, Triston McKenzie, also known as Dr. Sticks, stud on the mound. Dude, thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you calling me in to be here. Also, do call that number. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was cracking up when I saw that. But hey, man, you got a 500 batting average right now in the big leagues. Not that many people can say that.
So all of my homies that I play with in the bigs, all my homies that I've ever played baseball with, I let each and every single one of them know it. Anytime I see them, I'll be like, I got a hit in the bigs. My career average is 500. I let them know because it's like growing up, I would strike out and be mad. And they'd be like, dude, relax. You're gonna go to the big leagues and you'll be a pitcher. And be like, I don't even care about that. I want to hit. So coming up through the minors, I used to tell people I could hit all the time and nobody believed me. So now I have like physical evidence and I'm holding on to it.
Yeah, dude, you got it on video, so it happened.
Exactly. I kept the ball, I kept the bat, I kept everything.
No way. Cool. So it's at your home?
Big time. Yeah.
Man, I'm surprised the Hall of Fame wasn't calling to try to get that in there up in Cooperstown.
Maybe one day.
Hey, that's goals, right? And that's what this is all about, man. Just motivating, inspiring people. And hopefully a lot of people listening to this will learn a lot about your story. If you guys don't know about Triston right now, you definitely will after this episode and the bonus content. But dude, Triston, so on the back of your baseball card, it says that you're from Brooklyn, New York. I know you get this 1,000 times. You probably got it all throughout the minor leagues too. Like, oh, hey, you're from Brooklyn. That's awesome. You're a New York guy. You actually lived in Florida and you're raised in Florida. But how often do you get asked about being from Brooklyn? I mean, you are right now, but just tell you a little bit more about the back of the baseball card.
I mean, sometimes people kind of, it's the first thing they bring up and I try to steer them in the right direction. Like, yes, I'm from Brooklyn. I have a ton of family up there. So at the end of the day, it's still my home, but it's not where I grew up. It's not what I feel like I have to claim. Just growing up around in South Florida, just around so much baseball, I feel like it's so different.
And at 4 years old, you
Yep.
knew that you want to play baseball. That's such a young age to know what you want to do as a career and for the rest of your life. So what's your earliest memories and what was it at 4 years old that you decided that you want to become a professional baseball player?
I mean, I think it was less of like a specific drive that I want to become a Major League Baseball player and more just the joy that I got from when I was playing. I was having fun out on the field. And then when I wasn't playing, my younger brother plays. So like I'm always at the ballpark. And that's where I just found a sense of joy and just a sense of love for the game of baseball, just being around the game of baseball day in and day out. And I think just as I got older and I was more immersed in the game, I just love to learn the little things about it. And that's where it kind of led me to being the man I am today.
And then also too, you had aspirations to become a doctor. So it's pretty cool that even like throughout your academic career, dude, you were putting up some awesome numbers on the field and on the report card as well. So how are you able to balance both? And do you still have those aspirations to become a doctor at any point?
I think I've kind of backed up on those, just being where I'm at and just knowing how dedicated you have to be to get into the field of medicine. But it's definitely still one of my true loves. I was in the medical program in middle school. I was in the medical program in high school, and I still love it to this day. But I think when it comes to balancing it is just finding your niche, finding what you like to do and just going out there and enjoying it. I felt like when I was out on the baseball field, I was home and I was able to go out there and just express myself how I wanted to. Both my parents are in medicine, so it kind of came easy to me. So when I went to go learn and go be in the medical program, it didn't feel like I was going out of my way to hurt myself or to study or do anything like that. I physically enjoy doing it, which is kind of like my love for the game and my love for the medicine.
Yeah, it's so funny. So both your parents were in medicine. I have a couple buddies who their dad was a dentist, so then they became dentists. And it's almost like some certain careers are generational, you know? So you had that path of becoming a doctor and specifically a cardiologist is what you want to do. But that's pretty cool. So were your parents, were they like, you have to do your homework before you play baseball?
Big time. I mean, my dad and both my mom definitely push more like they're both PTAs. So they do physical therapy and they pretty much were like, listen, if you want to play baseball, the only way you get to play baseball is if you have good grades. And they pretty much just impress that upon me. It's just like baseball can be taken from you at any second, but your mind can't. So make sure you focus on the stuff that is kind of the intangibles.
Dude, you throw some heat on the mound. So when did you kind of realize I could turn this into a career?
I felt like everything kind of happened quickly, leading through like my junior and senior year going in high school. Just the velo came very quickly. I always thought I was an athletic kid. I never really played any other sports outside of baseball, but I think just me training in baseball and me learning and knowing the game, I think stuff just kind of fell into place and it just kind of happened.
Which eventually took you to the MLB draft. So you got drafted in 2015, 42nd overall by Cleveland. Dude, talk about a dream come true. What's going on through your mind when you get picked that early?
I was playing Call of Duty at the time.
Nice.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I mean, I was playing Call of Duty very early in the draft because I was trying to get my mind off the whole situation on like the pressure of it. But I mean, I guess at that point it was more just trying to enjoy the ride. A lot of that stuff, I feel like guys get so caught up in where am I going to get picked? What's the money going to be like? What's this going to be like? And it's just like I think for me at the end of the day was like seeing the happiness on my mom's face, knowing that like I may never have to worry for myself or for her for the rest of my life, or just be knowing that like if I wanted to go to college, I was paid for. There was a lot of stuff from a happiness of not only myself but the people around me, which made the moment really special to me.
Oh, for sure. And it seemed like right away you made an impact and you're doing very well for yourself because then in 2017, you made the MLB Futures game, which that's like such a great accomplishment. That was so awesome. So is that kind of like your first taste in pro ball of like, I belong here type thing?
So I would say the futures game in 2017 was definitely the closest that I ever felt to the big leagues, just in terms of like we got to play, and it was cool that it was down here in Miami. I got to play at home, so I had a lot of friends, I had a lot of family kind of come out and show support. So to me, it was like this is the closest I am to the big leagues. I'm playing with all these prospects who within the next hopefully year or so we're going to make the big leagues. And I felt like I went out there and I made a good case for myself in terms of competing. I faced Ronald Acuna, threw him 2 pitches, got him to fly out, and they pulled me out of the game. And then I was just like, I'll take it for what it is. That guy's the number one prospect in all of baseball right now. Like, I'll do it. Or I think he was number 2 or 3 behind Yohan Moncada at the time. But
Another big name.
yeah, exactly. It was just like at that point, I was just grateful for the situation I was put in.
Yeah, and that's kind of when your transition from the on-field stuff to the off-the-field type stuff began too. I saw you rocking the Futures game jersey at a party.
So that was actually,
Dude, you got it, man. I love that, dude. We got to see more of that in baseball. You set the tone pretty early, which is awesome.
my mom actually did not want me to wear it. I think that was a Halloween party. No, it might have been Thanksgiving. It was definitely Thanksgiving. I was trying to dress up for Thanksgiving and I was begging my mom to wear that jersey because she likes to keep all of my memorabilia. Anything that she deems important to her is not seeing the light of day. She's locking it up in a box and she's putting it in a frame somewhere. She gets to look at it. So I begged her and begged her to like not put that one up. And then I was just like, it's Thanksgiving. I want to step. I want to like kind of feel myself a little bit. I throw on my jersey and it just everything just kind of went from there.
Dude, it looked awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Have you rocked any others that haven't seen Instagram just yet?
I like to sneak some jerseys in here and there. I got a throwback Arrows jersey, one of the purple mesh ones.
Oh, yeah.
So before they were the rubber ducks, I got one of those and I rocked that. But like, there's a lot of, I feel like I get a lot of my fits don't get pictures or get posted on social media.
Okay, that's good to know. So you got a lot of stashed up just in case of a
Big time.
rainy day if you're looking for some content, which I did a video not that long ago with Francisco Lindor kind of, well, obviously while he was still with Cleveland, just about the different uniforms that they got over there. And like, dude, you guys got a ton and obviously a lot more coming on the way.
A lot more coming. And he's a perfect example of drip too. He's probably got content for days.
He's the man. I love him.
He's a man.
While we're on that subject about the Cleveland jersey, putting on a big league uniform, I listened to an interview with you where you were talking about how you were at a Boys and Girls Club event and you were still in the minors at this time. And the kids were looking at you as a big leaguer, which you were making their day, but also too at the same time, they were kind of making your own day and just kind of, I would say from how I interpret it, almost kind of just being like an inspiration. Like, wow, these kids are looking up to me like a big leaguer. Like I can do a lot with this. I thought that was so cool when I heard that because you kind of realized how they were looking at you. And it's almost like they were doing for you just as much as you were doing for them.
Yeah, I mean, I need to go back up there soon. I did that program twice where I just kind of went and sat and read some books to the kids and just interacted with the kids and got to spend a couple hours with them. Nothing huge, but to just go in there and be like, to me, it didn't seem like I was doing much. I was just going and trying to talk to the kids, go play some ping pong, go shoot some basketball or play video games or do whatever it is, like little things. And to see how much they appreciated it was just huge from the aspect of like, they saw me as this big guy that was going out of his way to interact with them. And to me, it was, I'm here to kind of just be around you guys. And the love and the admiration almost that they gave to me was huge, and just my drive and my desire to help them and to go out and just be a part of their lives.
It didn't just stop there either, because you've been working with kids a lot, like at the kids camps and stuff like that. So you've been a role model, not just now, like a lot of people just see it at the big league level, but you've been doing this for a while, which I admire a ton that you do that. And I wish and would hope that more athletes or just people in general would be like that, because that's a great thing that you're doing.
I mean, and I feel like at the end of the day, as a status of a figure of status where you're a baseball player, you're a major league baseball player, you never realize how small little interactions can change a kid's life. Where I met plenty of big leaguers or plenty of minor leaguers in my time where like they would sign a baseball for me and I would have no clue who it was, but I would go home so happy for the rest of that day just because I know that I got a signed baseball. And it's just like, to that guy, he's probably like, oh, I'm no prospect. I mean nothing. And he signs a baseball for me and throws it to me. And it means nothing to him. But the feeling that I had as a kid, I want to try and spread that as much as I can.
I'm so happy that you brought that up, because that's another thing that I love about you, and that I'm sure fans love about you too, is that you love baseball, you love experiencing all this stuff, and you know what it means. Like you just said, if you sign an autograph for somebody and they go home, it can make their day. And you are definitely on the right path. So it's been awesome to see, especially from an outsider standpoint. So it wasn't until the pandemic season in 2020 that you actually did get to the big leagues, and you made a splash there. That was pretty cool. I had Joe Adell on not all that long ago, and he had a similar situation where he debuted during the pandemic. So he was like, yeah, I got my first MLB hit. And then later on that night, I was playing MLB The Show, and Mike Trout, I hit a home run with him, and it was the same noise that I heard at the game later, like earlier when I got my hit.
Yeah.
Dude, you went through the same thing. The fire that you brought, there's no fans that were pumping you up. So that was just so cool. So how much of a dream come true is that for you, just to finally make it, regardless if there were fans in the stands or not?
I was definitely out there trying to relax myself as much as I could, because it's just like, I feel like as a kid growing up playing baseball, your dream is always to make your major league debut. It's always to pitch with the crowd singing in the background. And I didn't realize that even not having fans, how much pressure I was going to put on myself to make that little kid happy. Just like looking across the field and being like, oh, that's Miguel Cabrera. Or even to this day, like when we go play the Cardinals and you see Yadier Molina, or we go to Houston and you see Jose Altuve, Michael Brantley, Carlos Correa. You look at guys that are like, dang, like this guy's playing in the World Series now. It's just like every time you step on the field, there's such like this excitement and the joy of the game that you still get from when you were 4 years old to when you're 24 and hopefully to when you're 44. I feel like it never changes.
Yeah, dude. No, and you're throwing out some pretty big names there. And just yesterday, I was talking with Josiah Gray when we were talking about how he got traded for Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. It's like, dude, we're still young enough where we watched those players growing up. When you're involved in anything with a name like that, you're like, holy shit, this is so cool. I made it. So, like you said, Miguel Cabrera, first major league strikeout, dude, ring him up.
Yeah, it's like even to this day, like we've had like, because we played Detroit a lot, I faced him. I want to say he has probably close to 10 at bats against me, something like that. And there's been times where I've like been pulled out of the game and I've been sitting in the dugout and he'll be at first base and like trying to get my attention or say something to me. And I'm like shy. Like, I'm like, that's Miguel Cabrera. I shouldn't be on the same field as him. Like, this is a guy that I watched like in the early 2000s when the Marlins won the World Series. It's just like, that's a guy that when we moved down here, that's the guy. And as he progressed and has this amazing Hall of Fame career, you're not expecting to be on the same field as him and to have him talk to you as like an equal. It's like still crazy.
Mm-hmm. And now, how much sweeter was that moment for you and all the other starts that you had, knowing that in 2019 you missed the entire season because of injury? 2020, obviously, a lot of people, players especially, did not get a chance to play. So, how much more special and how much more do you appreciate those moments, knowing all that you had been through the two previous seasons?
I think it just made it that much sweeter. I think it almost not made me rediscover my joy for the game, but it just made me appreciate the little things when it comes to like the days when your arm feels good, the days when your arm feels bad, like being able to go out there and just kick it with the boys, being able to go out there and just playing an actual game against an actual team that means something, being able to cheer on your teammates, having the fans in the stands and having them root you guys on through thick and thin. It's like those are the little things you miss about the game when you're hurt. And I feel like when I got to play in 2020 and then into this year, it made me appreciate it that much more.
And you learned how to do a Rubik's Cube in under 2 minutes. I mean, what more? What else can you ask for?
Exactly. So that's like one of my hidden talents. I wouldn't have it.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So on a more serious note, going back to the injuries, how much was your mom on you about just keeping to your program of recovery? Because like you said, she was a PT. So how much was she on top of you, just making sure that you were doing all the proper exercises? I know you had great treatment with Cleveland, but in terms of just kind of being that constant reminder, because if you don't do those exercises, Becca, she's a PT also, like, dude, if you don't do them at home, you're not getting better.
Exactly. I mean, I feel like she didn't have to be on me. She would just ask me how my days at rehab work because she knows that I was doing anything and everything I could in that training room to get back on the field.
Dude, let's go. All right, baby.
You know
Can't stop you.
it. You know it.
Another cool experience before we get into the branding and the content creation side, because that's the fun stuff. That's what I love most about you. It's just that you're so in tune with just social media in general and just building your own brand. One other thing that I thought was really cool was that you got a chance to participate in the Little League game out in Williamsport, and you were playing against Otani and stuff like that, and just seeing the excitement of you being there. And I thought there's no better individual in the game that could have been at that event than you, just because of what you bring to it.
Thank you. But I mean, I think me going to that event, as much as we were there as big leaguers to watch, like to play our game and have the little kids come watch us and have them participate in their Little League World Series and be like, oh, that's Shohei Ohtani, that's Mike Trout. I was doing the same thing from the big league perspective. Like, that's Shohei Ohtani, that's Mike Trout. I think I posted a video of it where like I was talking to the team from Ohio and they were like, oh, we want to see Shohei. And I was like, don't worry, I'm in the same boat as you. I feel like the little things that made them happy were what I love about the game. And it's exactly what made me happy about that day too.
Yeah, no, it's so cool to see just like the joy in your eyes and obviously just the excitement surrounding it. And a couple of things that the fans are really attracted to is just kind of that swagger that you bring to the field. And something that I personally love is your glove and the style of it. And also too, just always having like the subtleness of the Reds, just kind of like make it pop a little bit. You really think about everything that you do and everything that you put on. And I think that's pretty cool what you do with your equipment.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of options that I cycle through every day, but it's more just like I feel like my style is very me. I never try and go too far out of what it is, and I try and take a little bit here, I take a little bit there. I'm never stuck in anything, and it's more just like I wear some simple stuff, I throw a little bit of splash, and I try to bring that little flavor to my game, to how I play my game, whether it be my glove, my cleats. If I kind of take the laces out of one cleat and put in another to add a splash of color here, just so that like when I go out there, I have this saying like look good, feel good, play good, they pay good. Like word to Deion Sanders. It's just like just those little things that make you go out there and be comfortable that's really all that matters at the end of the day.
Yes, sir. And how about those Jordan 11s? Are we going to see you out there anytime soon on the mound in those? I know somebody
Hopefully
who you
soon.
looked up to, CC Sabathia. I know he used to rock a lot of those. They looked awesome with the pinstripes.
Exactly. So it's like, and then again, growing up, watching guys like CC or watching your favorite pitchers, watching like Ken Griffey, how much swag he had when he would walk out in the field with like his hat backwards and stuff like that. I try and add that in there too. So hopefully someday I get on their level and I might steal some of their drip. We'll see.
Do you think that you could ever steal Jose Ramirez's drip with his chain that
No,
he has in the pennant, and he's in the pennant, just a picture of himself holding a chain? Pretty inceptive.
there's like certain guys that you watch that you're like, he does that and I just can't do that. Hosey's one of those guys. I think like Lindor's one of those guys. Like he walks out and if he were to dye his hair pink today, yellow tomorrow, green the next day, purple, he could pull it off. And I'd be like, I look so crazy. There's certain guys that just have it.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I feel that way pretty often. Like a lot of times when Bryce Harper busts out like the Philly Fanatic cleats and stuff like that, I'm like, dude, not many people could do that, and I don't think I'd be one of them if I was up there. But people do, like you said, it's pretty crazy.
I feel like you watch Bryce Harper and he'll go from the long flowy hair and then cut it off the next day. And it's just like, that's a huge change, but he makes it look like it's nothing because he's Bryce Harper. But to him, it's really not that big of a change. He just got a haircut, which I think makes
Yeah.
it that much cooler.
Dude, which speaking of, I'm gonna look down at you for this one, not into the camera. But yo, did you end up cutting your hair?
That's
Oh, it's still there.
I got it
It
all.
looks sharp though, man. I love it. I love it. I
That
saw the
was so.
Instagram story, so I was like, man, I just realized we're talking about that, and you got the hat on.
I've been telling people that for a while now, and every single person that, so like I was saying in the clubhouse, I told my mom, I told my dad, I was telling everybody, and it was just like, don't do it, don't do it. Friends, family, everybody was saying don't do it. So I had to put it out on social media and get like a general consensus to make sure, like, see what the fans wanted.
Yeah. Hey, you're a man of the people. We love it.
Hey, that's who I do it for.
Dude, but I think it looks great, man. I don't know if I'd be wearing that hat a day after.
I gotta keep it tight. I don't want to get it too exposed, you know?
See, you had me nervous. I thought you were trying to cover something up by having the hat on.
No, 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 no.
Oh man. So another aspect of your social media game is you do a lot of stuff with Baseball Lifestyle 101. That's been great to see, be very involved with them because they're a company that just continues to grow and grow. I love looking at their social media page, and every time I go back there, there's more and more followers and stuff like that. So they're doing well. They connect great with like the younger audience, which is perfect for you. So just kind of talk about like your involvement with them. Also, shout out to JB. I'm sure he's listening to this, but yeah, he's the man, and I'm sure he's done a lot of magic for you as well. But yeah, just go a
Big
little bit
time.
into your connections with Baseball Lifestyle 101.
I mean, I think the baseball connection with Lifestyle 101 was really just very easy. I felt like they very much matched who I was as a player, the vibe, the aesthetic that I was going for on my social media. When it comes to just talking to younger guys, I feel like their brand itself is very targeted towards the same people that kind of watch me go out, and the same people that follow them are the same ones that follow me on social media. So I felt like it was only right that when we did the partnership, it was just going to be natural. It was going to be organic. And I feel like it's very obvious in like my posts when I interact with them, nothing feels forced.
Dude, yes, yes.
I feel like they just do a great job of just giving me information and giving me content and giving me clothes, whether it be the sweatsuit that I was just wearing, the off-season brand lifestyle stuff. They do a lot of little stuff that very much matches me and very much matches the audience that they're trying to grab.
Yeah, that fit that you just posted, you literally like it fit in perfectly, no pun intended, with all your other posts. You can't tell, unless you click on the picture, you read the caption, whatever, but like literally fit you perfectly.
I mean, I was wearing that and people were asking me like where I got the stuff from, what brand was that, and thinking it was like some high designer stuff. And I was like, no, this is like the same stuff that any old high schooler could buy. Like this is stuff that regular people could wear. So it was just like I felt like from that aspect, they're such a fit for me, and just their clothing stuff, their baseball stuff. When it comes to the little stuff like their swimming trunks, it's all stuff that I would wear.
And like you said too, it's affordable. I mean, there's so many things out there that pro athletes wear that are just so expensive. Like when Meta World Peace played in the NBA, at one point he was wearing the pony sneakers because he was like, you know what? Kids are watching. They want to buy what we're wearing, and these are affordable. I want somebody to watch and say like, if I want to be like Meta World Peace, well, I can try to actually do that because these pony sneakers aren't the $300, $400 LeBrons, which obviously LeBron's are amazing kicks, but like also at the same time, you want to be relatable. And if you want somebody to be like you, well, you got to make it easier for them to actually do that. So that's exactly what you're doing.
100%. I feel like it's the little things that, like, as a professional athlete, it's like I'm worried about looking good for myself, and it's just like maybe today it's wearing $300 LeBrons, and it's like that's how I want to go out. But sometimes it's understanding that you don't always have to do that, and understanding that sometimes the kids just look for the little things. If you were to throw them a batting glove, they're gonna wear. If you wear one batting glove, kids might wear one batting glove on their hand just to be like their favorite player. I can't tell you how many times I imitated stances, imitated how people wore their pants, where they had dirt on their pants from how they played the game. It's just like you would try and do any little thing to be like your favorite player. So hopefully I'm somebody's favorite player.
Yo, we need so many more of you in the MLB right now, and I don't like all sports, but especially MLB, man, because like you got this down perfectly. You mentioned just your awareness of everything. How aware are you when it does come to branding and just kind of building yourself in a positive light?
So when it comes to branding, the word that I like to use, and I used it earlier when talking about baseball lifestyle, was just organic. I don't want it to feel like it's forced. I don't want people to feel like he's going out of his way to do this. He's wearing $3,000 jackets because he thinks it's cool, and we can't relate to that. I want to be the guy that when you look at your TV screen, I'm relatable, because as much as I'm a big league baseball player, I'm a regular guy. And I feel like people tend to forget that, because a lot of the times the life is so much larger than what you lead it to believe. A lot of these guys have families. A lot of these guys have the simple things that make them happy are the same things that make other people happy as well. And I try to expose that as a professional baseball player as much as I can.
I would honestly say that just checking out like a lot of your stories and a lot of your posts, you kind of have that you're friends with this person type feel. So you're doing an awesome job with that, which is coming across as like authentic and everything. So
Thank you.
if you're an athlete out there, you're welcome. But but yeah, if you're an athlete out there, if you're just a regular person, or even if you're just trying to become an influencer, definitely you guys got to check out Tristan's Instagram page and other social media platforms, because he's the prime example. And in my opinion, if you're trying to be a baseball player, growing your brand, he is the dude to follow. I think you're doing a great job of it. And another thing that I wanted to point out when it does come to brand building is that when you go into all these different cities, you know how it is. You can literally do anything and everything that you want when it comes to like tourism type stuff. So you go to Toronto, dude, there's so many great bars, so many great restaurants in Toronto. And I'll use New York City as an example. There's so many things you can do in New York City, but this dude is going to the MLB team store. He's going to Tops. He's going to the MLB headquarters. Like, you are making the rounds. You are anywhere and everywhere. We're here right now. Like, you are just doing it right. So you're pretty serious about making all these connections and really making this happen for yourself.
And I feel like at that point, it becomes less about, when I do stuff like that, it feels less about building my brand and more about building baseball as a whole. I feel like
Yes.
I want to kind of just be involved in all this stuff, so that when I look at a kid, or when I go to a baseball tournament, I can look and be like, I had some type of impact on this, and I helped the game in a positive way, whatever it may be.
Dude, no, you're definitely doing that. And it's just cool to see because like you said before, it's not forced. And you're still that fan inside. So when you go to all these places, you're looking around at Tops, you're like, wow, this is cool. I saw that on that card wall that they got in there. I love going there. It's so cool. But on the card wall, if you walk in the Tops, they got this long hallway for anybody who hasn't been there. And it's just a ton of cards from the top to bottom. And you could take a card and you could replace it, whatever. And you ended up putting your card on the wall that was signed. And if I remember correctly, I'm sure there's probably no other signed card there. So I'm sure somebody afterwards is pretty stoked to come across it. But that was even cool that you got a chance to do that.
It was, I mean, so like going into the Tops and being able to like just see all the different types of cards that they had. They weren't just baseball cards. It was football cards. It was basketball cards. There's all types of cards there. And then they're like, hey, we're going to give you the opportunity to sign one and put it on the wall. And I'm going and I'm like just admiring and trying to see like who I know on the card wall. And I look up and I see my Blake Parker, my teammate. And it's just like, oh, like I just have to put my name next to his. It's just like, that's my homie. Like if I'm going to be anywhere, I want to be right next to him.
All right. So using that as an example, because this happened to me as I grew in the sports media industry. I was in the minors for who knows how many years and eventually got to the big league level. And there was one day I opened up a pack of baseball cards, probably from Tops. And I was like, oh, that's Lester. That's Judge, Aaron. That's so-and-so. Like, oh, I know him. I know him. I know him. Not saying that in a cocky way, but saying that when you're a kid, you're looking up to those people, you know?
100%.
So now for yourself, you open up these cards and you probably have that similar feeling where you're like, oh, I'm friends with this person. Oh, I struck that dude out. You know, like that's kind of a cool realization for you. So I'm sure also, like you said, you saw your teammate, but as you're walking along that wall, you're like, damn, like now I'm part of this. That must have been such a cool feeling.
100%. I feel like Major League Baseball, as much as it seems like this big thing, that I feel like it's such a select group. I feel like there's guys in the World Series right now. So I played with Austin Riley in like a perfect game showcase in high school. I played with Kyle Tucker in like a perfect game showcase in high school. And it's just like I've known this guy for 6, 7, 8 years now by way of baseball. And I'm like, I've watched the World Series every year. And I physically have known this person, watched them come up in baseball, and I know this guy that's playing in the World Series, like baseball at the highest stage. And it's still so cool to me.
Dude, right? And then it's nuts too, like if there's a story that becomes like a huge headline that you had known about for like 10 years, but now the national media is finally catching up on it. You're like, dude, he's been like Ron Washington, for instance. That dude's been doing that side drill, whatever, with the
Yep.
picks and everything for like probably combined our ages longer than that.
He's been in baseball that long.
Yeah, and then our boy Sandy Alomar, he's gonna hop on this show soon, I'm sure too. But like that's
Actually,
another cool thing too.
hold up.
Oh
I
yeah,
gotta I
yeah,
gotta
yeah,
show
yeah.
you. I gotta show you.
Oh, I can see the kicks now too. Jeez, you got the full rainbow back there.
Big time. But I got this that I keep in the crib.
Wow,
Yeah.
dude, framed and everything.
Framed and
Is that an
signed. It's
eight by
got,
10?
yeah.
Dude, nice. When'd you get that?
I had it this whole season. I got it all season last year. Somebody gave it to me as a gift. They're like, "Would you like this?" And I was like, "Of course I would like this. This is super cool." Sandy actually doesn't know about it, so shh.
Yeah. Well, if he listens to this, he'll find out. I'll send him the sample episode. I'd be like, hey, this is what it's like if you want to hop on. How many other items have you gotten during your playing days? Because like you can make those requests. Hector Santiago, I don't know if you know anything about his collection, but at his house, he's got like, dude, if you walk through this, or I'll send you pictures afterwards, you're like, this is like the Hall of Fame of baseball, basketball, football. Like it's nuts. So like, how much have you dove into that since being in the big leagues?
I honestly, I've been very scared to ask. I don't know. The only signature that I asked for all year was Tim Anderson.
Yeah,
Shout
man,
out
he's the
TA,
man.
shout out TA. But I literally was like, I don't know. Sometimes it feels like almost awkward to ask. Like, as much as I'm a big fan of Miggy, I feel weird. Like, hey, can you send this ball over there and ask him to sign it for me?
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
totally see that, and also being so early in the career, maybe you don't want to come off as that guy. You know,
I
like
mean,
maybe in a couple years or 5 years or something like that, or if you see like the end of your career coming, maybe you start putting all the requests in. So I could understand where you're coming from.
on our team, I'd say like we got a couple guys that are like memorabilia guys. So regardless of who's in town, they'll try and get like one or two autographs. And like I'd say Bieber's like one of the ones that gets like the real unique ones that you would like never even think of. We were playing in Chicago and Ronaldinho was there. And he was like, dude, I gotta get something signed by Ronaldinho. Like that's a soccer icon. And he'll do like little things. He's a hometown kid. So I think when we were in LA, he got some Mike Trout stuff. So it's just like he has very, very unique stuff.
Damn, that's cool.
One day I'll get on that level, but we're working there
Yeah. Totally. Hey, it's a goal to set, man. You'll get there one day.
big time.
Going back to just going to all these places in New York City and sticking on the jersey topic and the memorabilia topic, what did you do with the Dr. Sticks jersey that you got from the MLB team store?
It's in my closet, sitting there, waiting to get busted out.
Dude, that could be the one that you wear at like a party or just like chilling out, like the Futures game one.
Big time.
I think that might be the one.
That one feels a little more organic. I don't feel like I'm rocking my own name like out and about.
That would be cool.
We'll see.
Damn, dude, it's crazy, man. Talk about 6 degrees of separation. This is nuts. Todd Isaacs, another mutual connection of ours. He was the one that came up with your nickname, right?
Yes.
Dr. Sticks, which I mentioned at the beginning, and now we're getting to 35 minutes later. But Dr. Sticks, man, that's one of the coolest nicknames in baseball.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I felt like just like with anything, I never try to come up with a nickname on my own because I feel like that's forced. And he came up with a nickname and I couldn't stop him from saying it one. So it was like, you got to get used to it. And it grew on me over time and love it. I think it fits me to a T.
And I know exactly why, but for the viewers and the listeners out there, just explain to them when, how, and everything else.
In my first professional season in professional baseball, me and Todd were out in Arizona with our mutual friend Juan. And he used to call me Sticks because I was skinny. Like that was his thing. He used to call me Sticks. And just because I wanted to be in the medical field when I was younger, my nickname was Doc. It kind of just melded together. He thought I was a real smart guy when it came to listening to music. Anytime he asked me for a song, like I had a song ready for him. Anytime we needed like, oh, this doesn't feel too good. I'd be like, my mom told me you should probably do this. You should probably do this. So I was always the doctor. So, and he just melded two of them together and they fit and they stuck.
Yeah, totally. So how well has it stuck inside the clubhouse or with fans or like if anywhere?
I mean, occasionally fans, I'll get yells at me like Sticks, and I'll turn and look just because it's habit. In the clubhouse, I get a little bit of both. More Tristan's, more T Max.
Dude, yeah, that's the one that I was gonna say that fits you really, or at least in my opinion. I'd probably call it T Mac.
Yeah, I get lots of T Max. I feel like T Max super easy.
It's the most obvious, at least.
That is true.
Well, then again, Sticks is too.
I try to stay away from T Mac because whenever somebody says T Mac, my first thought is Tracy McGrady, and I'm like, I am not Tracy McGrady. I'll take it though.
Yeah. No, he was awesome to watch. While we're talking about Todd, one of the things that he does, which is just so cool, is he's got the home run derby down in the Bahamas, and hopefully he continues to do it.
Me and Todd are boys, so I've been down to the sport every year. I haven't hit it, but I got all my jerseys from each previous year in my closet too, with Dr. Sticks on the back. I got
Damn, you tell him to start posting more about you then. Shit.
I mean, I'm not the main attraction. I'm literally just down there to support my boys' craft, and I've been there every year, and it's such a great event. I feel like it's eye-opening how big the sport of baseball can be in places outside of the U.S.
Dude, and it's so cool too. I mean, I'm sure being from Florida, you probably spent so many days at the beach where you're playing wiffle ball on the beach or using the ocean as the outfield. And if you hit it into the ocean, it's a home run. And this dude, Todd, he's actually having a home run derby in the Bahamas where they got the platform in front of the water and the balls too. Like if you hit them out there, aren't they like biodegradable or something like that? I don't know what it is.
They make sure to pick up all the baseballs, but it's all for a good cause. And then two, it's just like, who wouldn't want to go to the Bahamas, one? And then on top of that, who wouldn't want to go see a home run derby? And then you combine the two, it's in paradise, it's in the beach, it's super dope.
Yeah, no, I hope they keep on doing it. But yeah, I'm gonna hit up Todd after this. Maybe have him hop on, and I'm also gonna remind him to post a little bit more about you while you're down there because I see Lewis Brinson a ton. I'm like, dude, sweet Lou is everywhere right now.
I mean, he's got a pretty swing, and he won the home run derby. That's what gets you. That's what gets you the clicks.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, so in Triston McKenzie's world, what event would you put on? We've seen a lot of great creativity from you. So, what would you do? It doesn't have to be in the United States. It could be anywhere.
I mean, if I was gonna do an event, I would want to participate in my event, and I would for sure want to swing. So my goal is to have a celebrity softball tournament at some point.
Dude, yo, that could happen.
But outside of that, I feel like I wouldn't want to do much. I very much enjoy going to Todd's event. The home run derby in paradise is exactly that. So I'll be there every year.
All right. There you go. There you go. Yo, if you do have a softball game, I'm sure you could probably get a lot of your buddies out there and stuff like that. That would probably be a pretty big hit. Do it in the off season in Florida while it's still kind of warm.
I would definitely, and then I'd be able to try and pick out a stacked team. If I can get like Bo Bichette to come down because he's in Florida, get some of these Bahamian guys, get Jazz Chisholm to come up, I could have a stacked team and then figure something out. It might be real competitive for a softball game.
Yeah, you might have to do a closed door one just in case you guys get a little rowdy.
Big time.
Eric Cressy, isn't he down there in Palm Beach too, right?
Yep, that's where I work out, right in Palm Beach Gardens.
Dude, he's the man.
Big time.
I love Eric. He's so smart too.
Ridiculously smart.
Where I went to college, Quinnipiac University in Connecticut, the head strength and conditioning coach over there, Coach Patel, he actually is pretty close with Eric.
Ah.
And you know how that is. Like, if you're friends with my friend, we'll probably be friend type thing. And
especially with the Northeast connection. I know how you guys are up there.
Dude, right? Yeah. I was just talking about this last night. I was telling you before I had Josiah Gray on, and there's that pride of the tri-state area, especially in baseball. But yeah, such a small world.
Big time.
I know we're talking a lot about like the brand building and stuff like that, but you also do post your workouts and stuff like that. So then people can kind of get an idea of what you do as a professional baseball player.
I mean, I've been getting this a lot. People say I'm skinny, but I try to tell people I'm strong for my size. They don't want to believe me, but I'll let them know. But I feel like I've been training with Eric for a while now. And I feel like a lot of the times when I do my workouts, they're very tailored to me. And I feel like they definitely just make me a better baseball player. So that's pretty much my goal every offseason is to get 1% better every day.
That is the perfect mentality. So what more can we expect out of your social media pages? And like, are you working with anybody right now? What do you want to do more of? And what do you believe that other athletes in baseball should be doing more of? Because to me, in my opinion, you and Jazz Chisholm are very much alike. I think we need half of the league like you, but what's your stance on that?
I feel like a lot of guys are kind of scared of social media to a degree. Where like social media is a monster in terms of like how influential people can be with the littlest things. Even people that shouldn't really have influence, they can build a following. So I feel like it's more a lot of times like in professional baseball or in Major League Baseball in general, it's just like encouraging guys to like understand how big a small post will go on social media. A thank you comment could make a person's day, just like signing a baseball or taking a picture with a fan could make someone's day. You liking their comment, you responding to them on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever it is, like it's the little things that I feel like make you personable, make you relatable, and allow people to feel like, oh, he's not just somebody that just posts or he has someone post for him. He's on his phone or he's on whatever it is, and he's interacting with me personally.
So what would your advice be to that person who wants to post more but hasn't just yet, or thinks that what they post is boring or could be boring? What would your advice to them be if they're just trying to just get started and just share their journey?
I think the beauty of social media is that there's no standard. My page doesn't have to look like your page. My page doesn't look like Jazz's page. They may be similar, but he has his own little flair and he throws it. And when you look at it, you go, oh, this is Jazz. When you look at my page, you say, oh, this is whoever it is. I feel like that's the beauty about it. And I would encourage people to not feel shy about posting because it may not seem cool as opposed to other people. Social media isn't for other people. Social media is for you. Social media is about promoting who you are and who you are as a brand. And I feel like that's what makes people feel organic or feel like relatable, because when they look at your social media page, whether it be on TikTok, whether it be on Instagram or Twitter, they can get a view of who you are as a person.
Dude, you hit the nail on the head, and I would challenge everybody out there, or just not even challenge, but just say to them, is that just go on Instagram, open up your profile, go to the very beginning of your feed, and just look at pictures where you once were, fun times with your friends, just as a way to reflect and get those dopamine hits out of looking at your own page, because social media can be very not good mental health wise, but just so that you could reflect out of your page and just say like, yeah, I'm glad that I posted that, because if I didn't have that picture, I might not even remember that, you know?
Exactly.
Like same exact thing for you. I saw like a bunch of pictures that you had posted, whether it was Little League or something in the minor league days, or like even going back to the picture I was referencing earlier in the Futures game jersey. Like if there was no picture, if you did not post that, then you don't have that timeline. You don't have that reminder. So just documenting it is awesome.
Big time. I think it's a huge thing that like little things like that, social media isn't necessarily for me to look cool to anybody else. It's for me to go back and be like, oh, I remember this picture. We were in my most recent photo in like the baseball lifestyle. We were up in Nashville and I was up there visiting my brother. So every time I look at that photo, I'll remember that trip. I feel like it's all personal and it's all how it makes you feel on the inside.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be perfect either. If you have a bad outing, it's all right to post a picture afterwards of you just sitting there looking pissed off, or you on the bus ride home or something. It's all right. Those are emotions. Those are relatable. Like that's stuff that you experience. Not everything is sunshine and rainbows.
100%. 100%. I'd say the biggest thing is, like I said it before, there's no standard to social media and it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be you.
Wow. Okay. So before we go into the bonus content, I want to make sure that everybody listening to this knows where to follow you on your social media platforms. So Dr. Sticks, shoot out all your handles, so then that way everybody could follow you, and then definitely they'll be able to see the reference that I was talking about at the beginning of this.
Okay, so my Instagram is my first name dot my last name, Triston.McKenzie. My TikTok is Triston.McKenzie as well. And my Twitter is T_EAZY easy 24.
The main man. Dude, thank you so much for hopping on Keep Swinging. Definitely inspired and definitely love learning more about stuff on the field and off the field. I think it's awesome, and definitely hopefully a lot of listeners and viewers are now fans of yours and cop a jersey or shoot you a follow.
I appreciate that, Matt. Thank you for having me on.